Welcome back, y'all. This is your Chantell, and I'm still here with Hot 97's Hip Hop Gamer, but we are joined by Girls for Gender Equity's Social Work Director, Michelle Grier. So we are here just sort of trying to get a feel of what you guys do, but also to have sort of some important conversations. Yeah. So just so everybody knows, can you break down a little bit of what Girls for Gender Equity does?
Yeah. So Girls for Gender Equity, we are a nonprofit, but we very much believe in like grassroots movements and uplifting space for girls of color. And historically have worked with Black girls centering their experience and that they should be able to live their fullest and best lives. And so that has meant being able to hold space for them and have them work alongside us so that we can amplify their voice. So we consider ourselves an intergenerational organization that's doing movement work. We're doing direct practice work, so young people come to us after school for programs, and we also do some heavy policy work.
And I know you guys are the fiscal sponsor for the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
So just in case anybody's sort of unfamiliar with Girls for Gender Equity, I'm sure people have at least heard of the hashtag Me Too, which is now turned into more than just a hashtag. It's turned into policies, it's turned into programming. So can you talk a little bit about how that looks?
Yeah. So Tarana Burke was at our organization, is a part of our organization and has done a lot of work with us and was there when Me Too hit again. And so Tarana has been doing this work for years and really working in communities all over the country to amplify the voices of young people who have experienced sexual violence.
Wow.
And when she was with us, she was leading all of our programs and doing all this heavy work. Then Me Too happened, right? And her voice was left out of that moment. And then she was brought in, and she's been traveling the world now, giving of herself, and really amplifying the message that we need to be uplifting Black girls, and not just cis girls, but trans and gender nonconforming youth. So that's how we got involved with it. Wow. And then the part is because she was there, you know, just continuing that work and making sure that she had the space to be able to continue what she was doing.
I got a question though. With the Me Too movement, it's powerful what y'all doing as a collective. Like, you know what I'm saying, bringing people together. One thing I want to ask y'all is like some of the people that would like the naysayers, you know what I'm saying, that would be like, oh, it's just a Me Too, they just saying this, just saying that. Like, can you share, like, to create understanding and clarity to the people that may not be aware of how important it is, what's some of the things that you've like seen yourself or witnessed, or even stories that you like heard yourself that was so impactful that people that may be naysayers need to hear so they could understand that like Me Too could actually be you next?
Right. That's a really good question. I think.
Thank you. And you have a beautiful voice. I'm telling you, like I said before, y'all understand before the camera was on, I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, we need to have an Alexa app with her voice on it. I said that. But she's beautiful.
Direct quote.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it popping. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You know, Me Too started, Tarana's work was with young people in schools. So the way that it exists now, where, and it's very important, right? We're highlighting things at a much larger level, really looking at the system and how it's working. That work is very much held by Tarana and her team. We also have a pilot program that we've been doing with young people to uplift their stories. So we're talking like teenagers, right, in New York City, who experience this, like just going home from school, just being in school. Like if a teacher does something to you, where are you supposed to go?
Oh yeah, that's crazy, because it's like you would think the teacher was the person to go to if something,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. So the Me Too isn't about, it wasn't a moment to just be like, oh, we're out here highlighting people and canceling people. It's supposed to be young people having a moment to say, you know what, somebody else has gone through this too, and I'm not alone. And that by making community, I can be strong enough to heal from this. I deserve help and support, and I deserve that this shit, can I curse?
Sure.
I'm like,
listen, she even cursed nice. Your curses is nice. Like, go ahead. You're amazing. I love it.
You know, doesn't have to happen to me, or shouldn't happen to me. I can do something about it, and that something about it isn't just about somebody going to jail, but it's about really changing the community and changing the way that we're looking at loving one another as a whole. Because if you want me to be there for you in certain times, then you have to also show up for me.
Oh, yo, I love it, cause like, so me, like being a gamer, there was this girl, I gotta shout her out. Her name was Tamara, and there was another dude. I forgot what his tag name was, but they was going through some problems, like personally at home, And when we streaming, I was just like showing them love, like, yo, shout out to such and such, we playing the game, or what game you into, whatever. And just having that conversation, like, made them feel at ease. It's like they felt a part of something that was bigger than them, and it was positive, and it wasn't being judged every single second by every single thing that they did or how they moved. It was like, had a moment of really being free and being who they was and accepted as such. And that right there was beautiful, because even through gaming, you know, streaming, that was able to happen. So hearing you say that, I would love to see how we could even fuse that together to grow the message and put it out there even more. Because that, what you're saying is amazing.
Well, it's also we need to be accountable. What we know is that the harm that gets done often happens in communities. So it happens amongst people that you know, people who you're expecting to show up and be there for you. So after that happens, you need to be able to say, how do I heal from this? What is my community and who can support me? And so that's also a part of it, is knowing that that not alone bit means that you can also find other community if the one that hasn't supported you hasn't been there. So.
What kind of patterns have you seen among the teen girls that you work with of the type of things that are sort of happening in the community?
There's a lot of what I would say older men who are grooming girls. So I know that y'all also have probably heard talks about R. Kelly and
Of
right.
course. I mean,
So
we've all heard,
right?
We ain't seen it. We didn't see all 3 parts of it.
Right, exactly. So we've also been working with Lifetime and some other things, and just being able to have conversations around what's going on. You know, for the young people I work with, R. Kelly really isn't in their generation. So for them, it's, well, of course I know people like that. Of course, there's a guy on my block. I know him. He always is like trying to get us to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, and in New York, there was a big issue with people going up to a group home and finding girls so that they would basically think they just had an older boyfriend. And then sooner or later, because they're housing unstable, they're in the foster care system, they end up living with the men, being trafficked by the men. And I used to work in an alternative to incarceration program, and almost all the girls that I worked with had boyfriends that were adults. There were a lot of people who had been through experiences where they'd been beaten, trafficked to another state, things like that, or they'll get arrested on some sort of slight charge, because you can't charge minors with prostitution in New York. Right? But the average age of a prostitute here is 14, I think.
14.
What? Last time I checked. So it's not an adult issue primarily.
It's not an adult
primarily
issue.
like a teen girl
and
thing.
the things that people get charged for are like loitering, right? Being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe they're holding something for someone who's coercing them into something, right? And so then you're put up on those charges, and the issue at hand isn't even there. Right? And then we've seen things where young girls are being sent to jail because they killed the person or harmed the person that was physically enacting harm on them for years.
It's like Centonia Brown.
Exactly, who just got out, so happy.
You
know, we had a little like honoring.
That definitely happened.
And you know, and that's also something that we do at GGE. Like it's like we are a part of the communities in which we work in, right? Like we're in Brooklyn, I'm from Brooklyn. We work with young Black girls. I'm a Black woman, right? Like these are the communities that we're a part of, are also the ones that we feel connected to. And so what does that mean in terms of accountability? It's like we can't just let this stuff continue to happen, and amplifying it so other people get to know. And sometimes people want to wash over it.
So like, let me ask you this, like, in your personal opinion, with all the work that you put in to build this, build this up to create a safe haven and more of an open discussion on this so we could create change, like, what do you feel you're missing, like, right now, or what's needed right now to make sure that this gets to where it needs to be and it don't stop? Because like a lot of times people talk about something for a long time, and then the execution don't happen, and then what you're trying to do gets lost, and then it's gone. So we can't allow this to be gone. You understand? So what do you feel you need? Like if you was sitting down with someone that was in a position, whether financially or influence-wise, whatever, that has a chance to make a big difference to help with your cause, what would you say? Like, what do you need?
What's your ask, as they say in activist
What's my ask? Millions of dollars now.
Or maybe yes.
Maybe a little bit.
And you want to do that, right?
I mean, nothing wrong with that either.
Before I came to GGE, I was a school social worker, so I was inside of the school system, and I think just abolishing anything that gets someone suspended for what they're wearing and how they're showing up. And
wow, that's something you don't even think about.
Like,
yo, that's crazy.
You should never ever be sent home from school asked to leave class because you're wearing a tank top. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you a real question. We were talking about hip hop and gaming and how they get
Mm-hmm.
scapegoated for violence. Something else that they get scapegoated for almost always, right, is violence against women.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and then also women disrespecting themselves, like that's sort of a conversation.
Yeah,
people
they
will have.
try to use you against
well,
you.
Yeah.
Well, look at
Yeah.
these girls who da. How does that come into the work? How do you think hip hop actually does show up in terms of girls and young boys and men and women sort of
Yeah.
in their relationships and this work?
So this is actually a lot of the work that we do is around popular culture, around hip hop, talking about the songs that we listen to. What does it actually mean to be in a relationship if all your information that you're getting about from relationship is from hip hop culture?
Interesting. What comes up? What does it mean to
What
be in a
comes
relationship
up?
in hip hop culture?
What comes up is, oh, is it actually love if you buy me all the things? What comes up is like, what does it mean if I want to be seeing other people as the girl in the relationship, but you aren't okay with that? Like how when we switch what's considered the right gender norms.
Right.
Toxic masculinity comes up a lot. How do you think you can treat me? Listening to the songs and then breaking down like, wait, I don't know if that's actually what I want. Or is what's in that lyric actually rape?
This is, I like this. I like this
Yeah,
conversation.
and we listen to a lot of music, and we talk
Yeah.
about what does it mean to love your artist and love the music and be okay with that, but then also
Right.
to be able to speak up for what you want in your life.
How do you make it complex?
How do you make it complex?
Yeah.
Right?
So, well, one thing that I would say, and I love this because I really think that, this should be like a segment on this show too, because this is the Culture Dome, so it should be a segment. But like, it'd be dope to pull up a song from Common, and then like pull up a song from Chris Brown or something like that or whatever, and compare the lyrics and see, because for example, like the average teenage girl probably wouldn't go to Common to listen to something. They'll probably go to Chris Brown. Not to say Chris Brown got all these bad lyrics. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, Common, most of his stuff come from a more mature, treat the lady like this, or a man treat like this, whatever, and more maturity with it. Whereas with Chris Brown or even somebody that may be younger, may be speaking from a standpoint of like, you my B, and if you don't do this, blah 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 blah. But they're into that because it's cool.
Right. Even
So-
Drake, he'll be soft with it. Drake
Yeah,
will be
he's
soft with it, but there's a lot of
stuff there.
Yeah.
So my question to you, I think that'd be a great exercise to not only understand the truth, but why is it better, but still decide to do something different? Like what about this is so appealing? Because a lot of times people want what they know is bad for them. Sometimes people want what they can't have just because of the excitement. And sometimes they have something already that's amazing, but they don't value it just because I guess it's easy for them to get, so they already got it, so they don't cherish it as much as the drive of trying to get something that they think they can't have. It's very
Well, it's not
weird.
rewarded, right? Like
say it again?
you talking about Common,
Yeah.
and his music's dope, but also it's not rewarded as much. So if you're talking about who's gonna get to be like the top 10, have their tracks like heard, right now that's not what's rewarded.
Right.
What's
Right.
rewarded, right? So how many examples do you have of a man who's like wooing a woman in a way that is feminist,
Right.
right? Like,
Wow.
Right. What does that even look
what
like?
does that look like?
No, it's amazing that you said that because a lot of people talk about that too, where it's like you can have a song that's positive, strong, amazing, but then you have a song that's about popping pills, sipping lean. That's always gonna be at the top of the charts because it's programmed to go there. Like
Right.
you understand
It's
what I'm
a
saying?
system.
The system is designed that way.
Yeah.
So what I would tell you is it's always hard to fight against the system, but it doesn't mean you can't win.
Right.
So
Right.
how do you, like in your mind, what does Me Too, what does that platform provide right now to create a synergy that can disrupt the system?
I think it already has
Okay.
disrupt the system. I think
can
we're
see parts of
seeing,
that.
you can see
Yeah.
parts of that, right?
Yeah.
So people are having conversations. They are saying this is no longer okay. There is now other groups and people who are, this is not just happening in like the TV movie realm. It's happening, campuses are now having to deal with Title IX and what's going on there and people who
Yeah.
have been attacked there. That's one of the beauties of being able to be a GG. We work with like some other folk across the country who are doing this work. And people have been doing this work for so long. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So this is a moment where it's just amplified. And being able to say, like, this has been an issue for
God knows how long.
You know?
Exactly.
What do you think that hip hop in particular could do that would actually improve the conversation around relationships, women, the dynamics between money and sort of like worth, you know, for people? Because something interesting is also happening, right? You got shows like Love and Hip Hop. You've got other sort of reality TV shows that are transitioning people from a lifestyle of being a sex worker, being in the sex industry, to being a hip hop star, right?
Yeah.
So some people are like, that's a terrible thing, that's awful, that's whatever. And other people are like, well, I think it's nice, right? That Cardi B can be seen as a human being
Right.
after having a history of being
Right.
in a strip club. Because
and she's a complex human being with a lot to say.
Exactly. So what do
Yeah.
you think in terms of just like what's next for hip hop? What do you think would be the improved version
Right.
of what we have right now?
What would be nice is if we owned hip hop.
Oh.
That would be helpful.
So
Hey,
that
say
would be the first part, because then we could have,
No.
in the same ways that like we don't get to often control our narratives, it'd be nice if we can control more of the narrative of hip hop.
Right.
It's not just this one thing. If you want to be down for that, you could be, but then let's have multiple different narratives versus the one dominant.
Sure.
And so that's where it's not, you know, I think music, it should be for everyone, and whatever you want to be able to have and connect to should be what you connect to.
Your story should be there.
Yeah, but your story
Yeah.
should be there, and that's what we're missing. And so it's like there used to be a time where like if you were getting your tapes underground, if you were like going to shows, you know, around the city, you could see something different.
Yeah.
But that
It's less and less.
It's less and less. It's not
but
like that
the
anymore.
percentages is off. It's like for every one good positive record or whatever, you'll get like 80.
Yeah.
Like I hate you, I'm gonna kill you, or you ain't nothing but a, like, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
something like that. So the balance is off. But the more, and I'm not saying, like, sometimes you could be in your mood, had a bad day at work, and you just want to hear that. Okay, I get it. But when you design it to make it seem like that's all that's there, or this is what you need to sound like and talk about in
Sure.
order to make it,
Yeah.
then you fall into that trap of, you know what, let me just do what everybody else is doing because
That's
this
what
is
sells.
what. And you know what, I'm going to tell you, let me know what you think about this. This is very important. Pay attention to this. It's very important. There's a lot of girls, like even Instagram models or whatever it is, like there's a lot of girls that would talk about something positive, right? But they won't get as many likes or views or whatever on it. And then they'll make another video and they'll just shake their butt and get like all the sponsors and everything.
Sure.
So I heard a lot of girls say, yo, you know what, I'm gonna just put this out from now on because this is all y'all care about. When I talk about like some empowering stuff, y'all don't care about that. Y'all want to hear that, so I'm gonna just do this. And Cardi B actually said that as well. She was like, look, this is what
It's
y'all
too
want to
hard.
hear, so I'm gonna just do this. Like, how damaging do you think that could be when people in powerful positions still succumb to just following what everybody else say they want just for the sake of success?
I think that's the question stumps me a little bit because I just don't think about it as them.
Yeah.
Like I think about
okay.
them as responding to something larger.
Sure.
Okay.
And
That
so
we're within sort of a
right?
society
And
that's what it is.
Yeah. So it's like, of course, it's damaging to the individual if I have to compromise on my values in order to make a living.
Right.
Right. And so that,
Yeah.
in a way, it's about survival.
Yeah. And can you fault people
And
for
can
surviving?
you fault people
Right.
for survival? So there's that. But then there's also like the system. Like, why is this being lifted up right now? Why is it so valuable to be?
Who does it serve?
Who does
is
it
a
serve?
really
Who
good
does it serve?
question. Yeah.
And like back to the question, it's like, you know, Missy Elliott's amazing. All these women in hip hop are amazing. It'd be nice to have more women, like more balance.
Yeah,
Sure.
because I love Missy, I love MC Light. You know what I'm saying? Like MC Light was
Different
my
vibes.
joint. You know what I'm
Different.
saying?
Yeah.
And now, one thing I would say in terms of the Me Too movement, do y'all have like, or are y'all planning to do more like programming and content to create more avenues of the dialogue and the talk so that it can reach more people? Because like conversations like this is very eye-opening and very, very helpful. And I feel like, marching and talking, those things is, like that's always going to be there. But I think if there was more like content and more programming, because that's what I feel is the problem. The system that's what they do. They use programming. They control the media. They control what you see and how you feel. Like, they control that if you're not strong enough to, stay on your own. So I feel like if you have your own lane that does the same thing and you bring more in, not only will it be a moment, but it'll be something that sticks.
Yeah.
And when it sticks, then you're gonna have all those people go out talking about it as well, changing the narrative, even in their everyday life instead of just a moment in their life. What are your thoughts on?
Well, I guess I wonder, because you guys have programming, right? And Girls for Gender Equity is sort of like a funding umbrella, and it has a lot of other things that are going on within the agency, right? So I do wonder for you, where have been the successes? Like, where do you see what works? Because I would wonder if more of that kind of stuff happen, and maybe not just for girls, because obviously people talk about it like it's women's issues, but it's really everybody's
everybody's
issues.
I got you.
Of course.
And so I do wonder, right, when you see success, whatever that looks like for you guys, where does it come from?
For us, it's being able to have a young person share their own story in a public space. When before they were like, I would never ever talk in public about that.
Wow.
Right? But it's their choice, not
It's like
us
getting
making
rid of
them.
the shame.
Getting rid of the shame, but also being like, I now get to stand in front of like my city government and tell them that this is a problem and they need to be accountable for it. We also for years have been in after school programs with boys and girls.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have boys who are they get our curriculum, right? So then they can go and say like, this is not okay.
What's in your curriculum?
We are based in Black feminism.
Okay.
So they're gonna get some Audre Lorde. They're gonna get some bell hooks. And
write that down, look that up. Audre Lorde, bell hooks, Lord with an E.
and so the understanding that like when you are doing programs for those who are most at the margins, when you are creating systems and thinking about those people, that you are truly getting to liberation when you have them in mind.
Yeah, just even having them be visible at all.
Be visible.
Jeez.
That's beautiful. So, obviously we don't live in a perfect world, but if you was to wake up tomorrow morning, right, and what is your goal for all the work, everything that you putting in, the blood, sweat, the tears, what is the overall goal where you can sit back and be like, wow, like we managed to accomplish this. We still got more to do, but we managed to accomplish this. Like, what's some of the immediate or even long-term goals that you want Me Too to have an effect on with people?
Well, I'll speak about Girls for Gender Equity.
Okay.
I think that the goal that I say, the goal that we say, is that is to not have a job. Like, right? If I could wake up in the morning and know that the girls that I work with, the girls in the city and the girls in the country, and every young person has equity and equality and can be seen when they go to school, when they walk down the street, and they don't have to deal with harm, like that would be base level.
Wow.
Wow. Yo.
Just to not have a job.
You don't understand. You moved me. I'm sorry. You actually
No, go ahead.
But you just like, yo, for real. I got the yo, this is a super HD camera. I know y'all can see it. Like, yo, I'm telling you, man.
You got goosebumps for real. Just so
for real. Like, you just
this
like
is not a
moved
lie.
me. Like, yo, so.
I mean, this is heavy work,
amazing,
though.
man.
This is big work.
Yeah.
And the stories are also heavy stories.
Really heavy. Yeah.
And I know, because I'm a social worker by training, right? I know when you hear heavy stories, it also weighs on your spirit. And so I'm wondering for you, and then secondary trauma, for those people who don't know what that is when you hear a story that's so traumatic that just by knowing something like that could happen in the world, right, it traumatizes you too.
Wow.
And so you actually experience the same symptoms as people who have PTSD. It's not even a separate set of symptoms. And so I'm wondering for y'all, with all of the stories that you're sort of absorbing, what does self-care even look like for an organization like GGE?
Wow.
It's been, I would say that it's still a learning process. I think it's been a learning process for a lot of organizing spaces. People are moving towards healing justice models where they're incorporating like somatics, which is being able to connect to your feelings and your body while doing the work.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something that, just so for people know, when you experience trauma, your body tells you don't connect to
Don't
that
connect,
stuff.
yeah.
Shut your body off, let your brain think, but don't connect
Keep on
to your
going.
body.
And most people who are marginalized have experienced that, right? So it's like you just
Yes.
keep on working, put your head down, keep on going, work. You can excel if you are doing that.
And for Black people in particular.
And for Black people in particular,
Yeah.
right? And Black women and, whatever. So we are at the point where we're saying, no, that's not okay. We have to check in with one another. So the first part in the office is community care, making sure that we are having moments of joy. We went roller skating
Oh,
Like-
I can't really speak for nothing. I'm telling you.
Some of us can't either. But just like moments where you can reconnect and just like chill and be like, you know what, we're gonna take a moment to be together in a fun way.
Good.
But I also think like being real, like it means sometimes you have to go to therapy, sometimes you have to take vacations and take breaks and
Be human.
be human.
Yeah, be human.
You know,
Heaven forbid,
be
yeah.
human and just
Yeah.
be honest about that.
I want to share something with you, right? So there's this game that I would love for GGE to utilize in their program. The name of this game is called Life is Strange. Yo, so you play, so you play this girl and you're in college, right? And she has a special power where she can rewind time. Now, how many times anyone has been like, you know, if I could do this over again, if I could rewind this, whatever.
Especially in college. Heard
You know what I'm
that.
saying? So it's like she has this ability, right? So the you know, long story short, in this game, you make a lot of decisions, and you could make a decision that you think is the right decision in the moment because you're trying to do the right thing, but the problem is because you intervene with what was going on, trying to do what's right, it wound up later on being the worst decision, like because of what you did. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned from playing this game. And for me personally, the reason I want to share this with you is because, you know, I'm a guy, but I'm controlling a female character in the game. So some of the things that come her way and some of the decisions that you got to make, like for real, and toxic masculinity, everything, all this stuff is in the game. It don't pull no punches. Like it's all in the game. And when you make these decisions, yeah, it's a game, but it's based on what would you really do in that. And the reason why games is like the number one form of entertainment, because if you look at music, it's great, but it's passive. If you look at movies, it's great, but it's passive. Gaming is interactive. So you're controlling, and the sense of control in just human behavior, every human wants a piece of control of something because it creates validation on who they are and what it is. So when you play this game, the things that you learn and experience and the decisions that you make, life or death stuff, like everything, it brings you closer to what you will have of an understanding of what a female may go through from a man's perspective that plays this game. So I would love.
He's talking about empathy.
Exactly. I was just thinking
oh,
that was the
yeah.
word. That was the word.
Empathy, that was the
right?
word. So when you
Yeah,
do
because that's the definition, right?
that's
You
the
be able to
definition.
walk through
So
life.
the literally the term about walking in somebody else's shoes, these games literally provide storylines that allow you to walk in different people's shoes. And I just think that, you know, like after the show, should definitely talk about that and see how we can utilize that in a GGE session or moment or experience, because it's life-changing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very impactful. So, yeah, have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought of using that? Like,
No.
You gotta be in the
I'm
game
not
world.
close to anything. I think that, you know, you got to be able to use
Yeah.
everything to connect with people. So.
And empathy building is
Yeah.
everything.
Empathy, yeah.
It's
oh,
everything.
it builds empathy on a whole nother level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I really think you should definitely check it. There's other games too, but Life is Strange
Okay, Life is
is
Strange.
definitely one of those games that will change
Sure.
someone's life. I'm so serious.
And so we got the hip hop gamer here. He's bringing in the games. We've been talking about the music.
Yeah.
Are you into hip hop music? So who's your favorite artist right now?
Right now is Lizzo.
Lizzo, word?
That's fair.
Right now is Lizzo.
I'll be bringing it up
There's
in
a
therapy
lot of
sessions
Lizzo
sometimes.
happening.
Just letting people
Yeah.
know. Go listen to some Lizzo.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
remind yourself you're that bitch.
Yeah.
Yep. Just
Yeah.
do it.
So,
We have dance parties in the office, so that's one of our favorites.
You can dance? Oh, I'm about to say like,
Just because you having a dance party, I guess, it's just,
no,
just
alright,
living in her
cool,
body.
alright,
She's being connected and dancing.
All right, no doubt. Now, let me ask you this, right? When it comes to like in terms of how you got, you know, all this started with GGE, what were some of the struggles, you know, that you had to face just getting to the point that you at now to be able to, you know, create something that can help others? Because like a lot of times when you're trying to start or do anything, you know, they look at you funny, like, you know, why you even care so much? You know, ain't got nothing to do with you, ain't happening to you, so why you care so much about, you know, people, it's sad, you know, but people's like that. So what's some of the struggles that you had to break through to get to where you at today? Because I think that right there resonates with people that's going to watch so they can respect your movement.
I'm going to lift up Joanne Smith. She's our executive director and the founder of the organization.
Wow, shout out to Joanne. What up, Joanne? What's popping, Jay? What's good?
Yes.
Who's amazing and created GG out of response to a young person being like, they didn't have a space to go. They couldn't play sports in their school because they didn't have programming for girls. And then there was a violent act. A little girl got raped, and she was like, I'm gonna create space for this.
Wow.
And so we always do a her story when people are coming into organization just to hold that up. I also think, Ms. Tarana Burke, like these are things that they were all doing out of youth organizing, working with other young people and then seeing something and saying, we're not gonna allow this to happen. We wanna create a response, but we also know that these are young people, they're kids. So we wanna give them space to be able to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
GGE used to be Girls for Gender Equity, but it was focused on sports. So like, let's play basketball, and we're gonna talk about some stuff.
Sure. Okay, so equity even in that sense.
Equity even in that sense, yeah.
Amazing.
All right, and so I'm gonna ask you one thing, and then we're gonna play some. We're gonna play a couple games.
Yeah.
And so, this is sort of a question, just because a lot of people want to start nonprofits, want to even fund nonprofits, right? But they don't really even know what that would mean, because what does an organization that doesn't make money do to get money?
Yeah.
So how are you guys funded?
We're funded through grants.
Okay.
So grants are, there's different foundations that are able to give out money. They specifically say, this is this issue, so we are gonna give these people this money if they work on this issue. So right, Girls Justice, they'll fund. So then you apply and you get all money. You can also do a fundraiser. And you can say, you know what, I see this happening in my community. I'm gonna ask a bunch of people to come through to a party, a barbecue, something like that, and raise $5,000 and get started. I would say the biggest thing is to have a vision, and then you figure out the funding.
Got you.
Don't try not to work backwards and try to
Do
get
not
funding
work
and
backwards.
then do the.
Because then it's always going to be a compromise. If you are just creating for the funding, it's never going to be about the people that you're working with.
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay.
I love you.
So that's
man.
beautiful.
I'm so honored to meet you today. I'm telling you, I'm so serious.
And this has been a good conversation.
And her nails is fire, yo. Word up, son. Like she's styling on
Her
me
earrings
right
are fire. Shout out to what's the name of the earring maker who made these
Oh my
earrings?
goodness, they're going to kill me. They're in New Orleans. I'll let
It's
you know.
somewhere in New Orleans. We'll put it somewhere on Insta. Anyway, so you work with teenagers. I know you hear slang. You're from Brooklyn, right? So we're gonna play a little game to test your knowledge of some New York City slang. You think you're ready?
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, so I think I know all the definitions. I feel like Hip Hop Gamer got me if I forgot any of the definitions. Right, we got some locals around. Y'all can't see it, but there's some people in the background who helped me out with this game.
We're gonna make it happen.
So I know it's thorough. We're ready for it, right? There's no time limit. You just got to guess what it means. All right. You might know. So we'll start soft.
All
right.
You ready? So the first term is dead ass.
Like, really?
Sure. Oh, is there any alternative definition we want to throw out?
Oh, it's like like dead ass. Like I'm serious.
Right. So
Got
it's
you.
both,
you.
right? Because I've also heard people say, "Are you dead ass?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Like dead ass, yo.
All right. So what about chop it up?
Oh man,
Sorry.
chop it up. Yeah, that means what we're doing now. Like
We chopping it up.
Chopping it up. We talking.
Let's chop it up.
Yeah.
We good. Let's keep going. What about slaps? If something slaps, what's that mean?
I have never heard of slaps.
You never heard that?
Slaps.
That slaps?
Yo, nah,
You never heard that?
Nah, I don't know about no slaps.
It used to be, people used to say that goes or that goes hard. It's like the same thing, that slaps.
Oh, nah.
You heard that?
Yeah, that's the seaweed we got.
Too many S's in that.
Too many S's and slaps.
Oh, we working out the speech issues with it.
No.
This was kind of self-explanatory, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
That's not
I
an
heard
issue.
it. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about I gotta put you on?
Yeah,
If
gotta
somebody
inform
puts
you, gotta let
alright,
you know
okay.
what's up.
Yeah, you know
yeah.
that.
Put
Michelle
you
got
on
that
game,
one.
yeah.
All right, what about deep? We're not talking about deep like Toni Morrison. We're talking about deep like a New Yorker would say it. That's deep.
Like far away?
Yes.
Yeah.
Deep Bronx?
Yeah. That's like, no. Like,
See, they're
see,
educating me right now.
So when you say that's deep, that's like you just said something that's like, oh, I didn't even think about
But
that.
then
you
but
just
it's
said
both,
it's
right?
not
deep. Yeah.
But it's
That's
both.
what I
You
was
got
gonna
it.
roll with.
Both. Yeah.
Michelle, you knew what I meant.
Yeah.
What about?
My slang is bad.
Listen, we letting you know so you can go back to the teens prepared.
Yeah. You go back right.
Then you
Yeah.
gotta know.
True.
What about
They have their own
shoot the
slang.
30? You ever heard somebody say that? Shoot the 30?
Tell me.
It means fight. You're trying to fight.
No. Let's shoot the fifth.
That's what they saying around your way?
Yo, we got to shoot the fifth, yo.
See,
Come on, man. But you know what it is?
You heard shoot the fifth?
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
I never heard that.
You know, shoot the fifth. Yeah, we got to shoot the fifth. That's like, instead of saying shoot the fair one, yo, we got to shoot the fifth.
So we'll shoot the 30.
It's the same thing.
All right, but I just never heard shoot the 30.
It might be, it's both.
Maybe it's regional.
The only time you hear
Right, that might be a Brooklyn versus the Bronx type of vibe.
The only time you hear 30 is if you're watching a smack battle and somebody just got 30. It means they got 3-0 where the rapper won every round.
Okay.
So they just got 30.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Listen, those terms ain't even on the list. What about day room? You heard that? Day room?
You heard
Day room.
You ever heard day room?
What's day
What's
room?
day room?
It's like calling somebody a punk or saying somebody's weak, calling them out.
No, that's the weakest. Nah, they gotta
I
change
never
that.
heard about day room.
I'm telling you right now, whoever says day room,
Mad people
try
say
to
day
be-
room.
Well, mad people is whack right now. Like mad people is whack. We're gonna go to the day room, bro. Like what? Nah, get that. You don't talk like
Nobody
that.
says go to the day room.
I don't even know how you use that in a slang term.
You prefer.
You
Day
say
room, bro, what up?
You day room right now. That's exactly how
okay,
people
gotcha.
say
Day
it.
room.
That's
Nah,
exactly how
you're
people
doing
say
too
it.
much.
Because
You know what
it's a
I think that
Rikers
comes
thing.
from?
It's
They've
a
been,
Rikers thing.
they've been watching all the old movies like Juice with Tupac in it and watch all this stuff and then trying to create their own way of being cool. Nah, yo, that don't work.
He's mad because he didn't know day room. Let's move on.
Making me look better. It's making me look better. It's making...
Well, right, it's all right, Michelle. You over there with him. You fine. All right. What about good looks?
Good looking out.
Yeah, good looking out.
Yeah. I love that. Good looks.
Like,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
What about your? You heard nobody say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a general.
Just a hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
just
call
general
out.
hello.
Yeah.
What about static or staticky?
Yeah. Oh, you don't know about.
Nah, tell me.
Oh, nah. Status like. Well, I'm not sure how everybody else may mean it, but I know like if you want static, that means you want beef, confrontation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like
Static.
it's having a problem.
Yeah.
You
All
can tell
right.
I don't get into fights.
You know what I'm saying?
No, she doesn't know any other violent slang because she never gets into fights. What about I bet?
Yeah.
You ever heard that? You ever heard that? I bet. There's people laughing at her in the
Yes,
background right now.
I love it. It's okay. It's
That's
fine.
what's really happening.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so I bet
it's like,
means.
I-
we yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what about word to? You can say word to mothers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Okay. What does it mean?
It's just like it's like a shout out. It's like a no.
No.
You gonna
no.
tell me?
Nah, so like saying that's like what you're saying.
Y'all gonna revoke
is,
my black card.
What you're saying is
That's a different game.
Yeah, what you're saying is absolutely the truth. It's like if I be like, yo, word to my mother, this is what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
That's like saying
And some
that
people
it's
just
true.
say word too. They don't
Yeah.
even put a person.
Yeah.
Oh no, I say everything.
What about I ain't gonna hold you? I'm not even gonna hold you.
I'm not gonna make space for that.
No, it means like, all right, okay. So let's say you tell me you only got like 5 minutes like to do something. I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Meaning that I ain't gonna.
That's
it
very
ain't gonna take
literal.
that
I
long.
thought it meant something else. That's like quite literal. See, it's very literal.
What about no cap?
I definitely don't know that one.
Nah, it's been real popular these
Yeah,
days.
nah, no cap is real popular, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, you know what I'm saying? But no cap to me is like when you see something, you don't need a caption for it, because when you see it, it's self-like.
Ah, that's a good explanation
No,
of it.
it's
I'm here. I'm seeing that that's wrong.
Listen, there's a in the background right here.
Oh, all right, cool.
Even though, right?
But it sounds good with what I. all right.
It did sound good. I could have said. Yeah.
we have it. We had what's the audience saying? No cap is
No cap means like I'm being serious. I'm not lying.
no lie.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of like what you said. And then the last
Yeah,
one is
it's- okay, I see
is,
what you're saying.
is pause. Let's switch it up. Let's let the last one be brick. You heard people say it's brick.
Yeah, like cold outside.
Like it's
All right, cool.
pause.
Ah, she got that.
There we go.
I never heard pause.
What?
Nah.
Okay.
Pause. Let's pause right now.
Oh, man.
All right, and so we about to do the final thing. We play this every episode. It's called the conspiracy theory game.
Yeah.
So I was gonna let Hip Hop Gamer know what the conspiracies were beforehand, but he wanted to play two.
Yeah, I want to play
Okay.
too.
So now y'all are both guessing which one's real and which one's fake. So we have, this is how this works. We're gonna have three things. It's like two truths and a lie.
All right.
Got you.
Three conspiracies, right? Two of them are real things. One of them is just a made up story that somebody ran with, all right?
All right.
So here we go. Are
All
you
right,
ready?
let's
You think
go.
you know? Are you into conspiracy theories?
I am.
I was gonna say it's a part of the culture. Okay, so the first thing, right, is that there were 2 young men who were arrested because in the Catholic Church, when you swing the censer, that's what it's called, they put weed in there and burned it throughout the church. So the smoke was going throughout the church and it was weed smoke. Okay. So the second thing is that the FBI right now has the top threats listed in America as environmentalist and black identity extremist. Okay. And then the third thing is, hold on, let me think. What was the third thing?
Somebody help.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. What did I say? The third thing was that I was gonna do today. Oh, and the third thing is that in what was it? Dang, I'm messing it up, y'all. Huh?
You didn't give it to Monica.
Oh, I didn't give it to her. Can I run off for a half a second?
Yeah.
To go look at something?
You can run off?
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just need to go look at my phone for a second. I blanked it out. In my mind, I blanked it out.
Let's edit the game before.
Yeah, we got editing power. Word up, yo, this is hilarious, yo. Oh, man.
Oh, okay. That's what the other one was.
Ring
I knew it
the
was something about
bell
the
with
CIA.
weed in it. That's
Okay,
funny.
so we have, the first one is the censor in the Catholic Church being filled with weed
Yeah.
and having smoked throughout the Catholic Church.
hilarious.
Got arrested. Okay, so the second thing is that, what did we say the second conspiracy
It
was?
was
That was
black.
the
the black identity
environmental-
thing with
Yeah,
the
so the
FBI.
FBI has named the black identity extremists and
Okay.
environmentalists the #1 threat to America right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the third thing is that the CIA has a real life heart attack gun. So like if they shoot you with it, it causes you to have a heart attack.
Okay.
So 2 of those are facts. One of them is not true at all, even though it was spread around in a story on social media. Which one do you think is the lie?
I think the first one is a lie.
You think the first one's a lie with the weed in the? Yeah.
I think the first one is a lie too, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
I know about the black identity thing. Like,
So you knew for a fact?
Yeah, I actually knew about that for a fact. So I already knew that one. And with the whole cop thing with the heart attack gun,
Yeah.
of course they be trying to kill everybody. So it's like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Trust me, I
Just
know.
seems believable.
Yeah, it just seems believable because they trying to kill everybody. So yeah, so it was just that was easy for me.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all for participating in the conspiracy theory game. Even though, just so you know, that was one of the top 5 stories shared on Facebook last year about the weed in the censors.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like so people thought it was true. It's just not.
Oh wow.
Well, thank
It was
you.
funny though.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
That was
y'all.
funny.
Thank you.
It's been very real.
Thank y'all
Yeah,
for
man,
teaching
you
me
already
some
know what it
slang.
is.
Hey, listen, go back and use it well.
Thank you.
Thank you.